Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Ravens channel podcast. Talking Ravens all day, every day with your host, Justin P. And my lovely MVP co host, Miss Shannon Finch. This is episode 98 for the YouTube channel and for the audio version, season 2, episode 5. So, check that out for those who can't watch live for whatever reason. All the links are right there in the description below, right along with myself, Shannon, and Dave's social media platforms. You know, co-host got some fire topics for us. So, without further ado, I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna for
All right, so let's start off how we do every week. Give me your good, bad, and ugly for week 15.
okay, good. The defense, they was amazing. I mean, they had a rough showing against the Rams. Bad weather, going against a pretty good play caller, and all. So they had Doug Peterson this week, another pretty good play caller, another Super Bowl champion, and another quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence, who was slated the best. They both to the occasion. They had one busted coverage. It happens. But
Mm-hmm.
really, one mistake away from a shutout. Yes, they missed two field goals. Yes, Calvin Ridley scored or may not score. But still, they overall had. I gotta just get those things out there because people like to.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Ridley. Let me get off that. But the defense definitely rebounded. Only giving up 7 points versus giving up 31. So they were good.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar, he had that one little silly mistake trying to be greedy. He should have just throw it down the lightly, but he made up for it. Was making plays all night, even under pressure. Uh, Cal Hamilton was all over the place as usual. Playing with injured MCL, flying around making plays. Uh, Brandon Stevens was in as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Metabike as well, and then I was there likely. Can't forget about him. Bad offensive line. They got Jacksonville D line got at this a little bit. Lamar shouldn't have to be a musician every single time, or majority of times he's trying to pass the football because, sometimes that can lead to disaster, turnover or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like that play against Likely was a great play, but it easily could have been picked. Easy. Not
Mm-hmm.
another interception. So
Mm-hmm.
football gods blessed us on that one. So the offensive situational play calling in the red zone. We were in the red zone 4 times. Only scored 2 touchdowns. We at the very least should have had 31 points. So we gotta. I say that every week for our keys to victory. We gotta score touchdowns in the red zone. That's very very crucial, especially in the 5 line. You know,
Mm-hmm.
ugly penalties, injuries. Keaton Mitchell went down. Messed up his knee. Ronnie Stanley went out, and the interception Lamar threw. That's about it. It's not too much ugly for me.
Yeah, we pretty much had the same. For the good, I had we clinched the playoff spot. It definitely was good about that. Lamar was good. Likely was good. Keaton Mitchell, Gus Edwards, Justin Tucker, the defense, and shout out to Cal Hamilton. Like the fact that he was even able to play after the way it looked last week, I was like, wow, like he's a dud for real. Bad. I hate offensive line, particularly with the passing blocking. It was just bad. Like we just talked about everything Lamar had to do. It was just horrible in that sense. And the penalties. We had a lot of bonehead penalties that didn't need to happen, especially early on. And the ugly injuries. I hate that happened to Keaton Mitchell. We have been high on him since the preseason. We have been wanting him to get touches, even to the point of talking about should he be running back one. So to see him go down like that, it was definitely, sad. I was up like it kind of just dampened the mood at that point. But I'm glad that he was able to showcase his talent. I'm hoping and praying for a speedy recovery, and hopefully he come back next year and be better than ever.
I agree. I agree. All right. There you go. Our next topic.
All right, position grades. What grade do you give the coaches?
Give him B plus. B plus. Like I said, the play call on the red zone would have definitely made it a little bit better. Uh,
Hmm.
like I said, you run the football down there and stick with it. Stick with what's working. Give Gus. Gus has 11 touchdowns for a reason. Majority of them on the goal line. So
Hmm.
Our formation, I say it over again. It's like we'll do it and then we'll get away from it. Our formation, like Pat McCall come do their lead block. Gus is going to pound that thing in every single time. So it's a situational play calling offense. Mike McDonald defensively, they did pretty good. Um, I would like to see a little bit more, just like I said, rushing for the outside guys, Clowney and them guys. They had an okay game. It could have been better. Matty BK and them guys up front each week. They always causing havoc.
Mhm.
Boy outside, like I said, comes from the interior D line.
Mhm.
So like I said, altogether B plus. Where Sean? Where?
I'm gonna give them an A. Overall, I feel like both sides they came prepared to play. Even early on when it was kind of looking like, oh, this might be ugly. I feel like adjustments were made, and most importantly, offensively, even though we could have been better in the red zone, like you said, I totally agree about that. I also feel like we stuck with what was working. We didn't force anything. Like we can look at the passing game and say guys weren't involved. But sometimes the weather doesn't call for that sometimes. And with the way that wind was blowing, it didn't make a lot of sense to force things passing wise. And we know that we can run the ball. So it was good to see them stick with that. So I'll give them overall an A. It wasn't too much to really complain about as far as what was going on, but they can improve. Like you said, that red zone offense definitely can be better.
Yeah, that's we not too far off from that. Okay.
Yeah. So what grade do you give Lamar?
I'll give him a B plus. It would have been an A. Like I said, through the interception it was all him. It wasn't tip or nothing. Or he's under pressure. He was being
Mm-hmm.
he just ran it or dumped it down to Isaiah Likely. So that was a
Mm-hmm.
for those who don't say I get on him, which is crazy shit. My God, but I do get on when it's warranted. So yeah, a B plus. Like I say, he was under duress a lot of times of the night. He had 70 yards rushing, uh, 170 in the air. So altogether 240 yards. Like I said, an interception stopped him from getting the A. So we get a B plus.
So we kind of have the same reasoning behind our grades. My grade is an A, and the reason it's not an A plus is because of the interception. Because I do feel like that was on him. It was something that didn't have to happen, but it happened. But overall, I feel like Lamar had a really good game. And if it wasn't for his ability to do half the things that he did, we wouldn't have done what we did offensively. Like he was responsible for a lot of things that happened when plays broke down, and just showing how special he can truly be. He only had 171 passing yards, but he almost had 100 rushing yards, 97. Um, like I said, if he didn't do half of what he did, it would have been a different game. He made tough throws and he made clutch throws. And, he was the offense Sunday to me. So I'm giving Lamar A for his performance on Sunday.
Okay.
And what grade do you give the offensive line?
See, see,
Hmm.
he was like I said, running for his life and all that. Then we had injuries to Stanley, so definitely Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen, man, they was cranking it up. Like I said, luckily Lamar is a magician in the pocket. He's able, he don't
Hmm.
improvise, but yeah, they definitely was getting whipped. So I gotta give him a C.
And I gave him a B minus, and I was tweeting between that and a C. And the reason why I went up a little bit is because I feel like they did good enough when it came to running the ball. Like I said, Lamar had almost 97 yards, and the running backs they had over 100 yards combined. So in that sense, they were doing good. On top of the injuries, but like you said, they were getting after it up front. So if it wasn't for Lamar and the things that he was able to do, it could have been an uglier game. But the only reason I gave him a B minus and not a C was because I do feel like we ran the ball effectively, and you can't do that if your front line is not doing their job. So I gave him a B minus.
Okay.
And what grade do you give the running backs?
Give him a B. They Gus get with Gus ran hard. Like I said, guy TD. Keaton Mitchell had some good runs before he got hurt. Justice Hill came in and got some good runs. So I get
Hmm. I gave him an A plus. 154 yards combined. We have a touchdown from them. And I just feel like if Keaton Mitchell wouldn't have got hurt when he did, he could have possibly had close to 100 yards. Like he was having a day like that. Um, so yeah, I'll give them an A plus for how they played on Sunday.
well, me, you being super generous, like, but it's all good. It's
Like,
all
look, this look. It was. I was being mean last week. I'm being nice this week. But
like
no, I
this.
mean, I think they played well. I do think they played pretty well, considering that you got to split carries and do all of that. When they
They
come
did
in, they're
good.
effective. So what grade do you give the wide receivers and the tight ends?
B plus just off of Isaiah Likely alone. Then Bateman got involved. Yeah, Zay could have probably been more involved, Odell, but Isaiah Likely had himself a game. So yeah, I get him
Hmm.
off those two guys alone.
Yep, and I gave him a B minus. For the same reasons you just said though. Isaiah Likely he brings the grade up. I mean, he had a day. He had 70 yards and a touchdown. He made a tough grown man catch, like you said, that could have been or would have been an interception any other day, but that day it wasn't. Bateman made some plays, and the rest of the crew. I mean, they really didn't come to the party, but like I said earlier, I think that it was more about the weather and the way the wind was going than it was like, they couldn't do anything. I mean, they have one of the worst passing defenses in the league, even with the guys that were supposed to be their starters. So, and any other day, you might go into a game and say we're going to exploit that, but like I always say, don't force it, and we didn't force it. So that was just a day that the wide receivers really couldn't get involved. But when Lamar passed it, when we had to do what we had to do, Bateman and Likely definitely showed up. So I gave those guys a B minus.
Okay.
And what line did you give? I'm sorry, what grade do you give the defensive line?
Hey, they get A plus. Them boys up there balling.
Hmm.
ETN didn't really have a big game. They had little runs. You're gonna give up runs. You're not gonna shut no
Hmm.
20-yard rushing each week. It's just too hard. But them guys
Hmm.
on it. Like I said, they getting the most of the pressure. Man, BK was getting pressure. Travis Jones uh,
Hmm.
stopping the run. Big Pierce pushing the pocket. So yeah, they get an A plus. They probably it ain't gonna be too many A pluses, but they getting one out for me.
Same grade, and for the same reasons you said. I mean, I thought it was going to be a long day. When it first started, we talked about like you guys we talking about the running backs last week, comparing them, and you guys were speaking highly of ETN. And when the game first started, I was like, oh my god, they were right. Like, and I was concerned about the run defense. But he only ended up with what 31 rushing yards. So on a day like that, with a guy like that that's capable of doing what he's capable of doing, and you have your front doing what they did, getting pressure, stopping the run, you can't give them anything but an A plus.
Yeah, we on the same page with that one.
And what grade do you give the linebackers?
I give them an A. Just Queen and Roquan, they held him to 31 yards rushing, and he didn't really have a big game receiving either. So just with them two alone, they just the outside linebacker, like I said, they did enough. Clowney did enough. Calvin Noy was on some plays.
Hmm.
Always got the pressure. So for that alone, I give him an
I had the same thing, and for the same reasons. I feel like they had a pretty solid day. They were working, they were all over the field, and they were making the tackles, and they helped limit the run game. So they definitely get an A. And what grade do you give the DBs?
B plus. Uh, yeah, Kirk and them guys did start driving a little bit, and in the busted coverage, but all in all, they held their own. Uh,
Hmm.
a couple penalties, so I'll give them a B plus.
Same, B plus. I feel like Cal Hamilton was all over the place. He led the team in tackles when a week that we probably all felt like he shouldn't have played, but he was out there balling. Marlon had a bounce back game, which we expected. We weren't worried about Marlon at all. It sucks that Marcus Williams went out again, but that's pretty much been his situation since being in Baltimore. I mean, he comes in, makes an impact, then he's out. Same thing this year, same thing last year. But Gino came in, he stepped in. It could have been higher, but I feel like we did allow a touchdown. And at certain points of the game, they were moving the ball up and down the field. And it definitely would have been a different game if those missed field goals ended up being touchdowns. So that's the reason why I rate them that way. But the defense definitely bounced back from that Rams game
Oh,
against a pretty good offense.
for sure.
And what grade do you give the special teams?
Uh, mm, I give them an A. Tuck made all his field goals. We didn't really give up no super big returns, so I get an
And I gave them a B. I mean, it's not that they did anything wrong to not really deserve an A, but like A's on special teams to me is reserved for getting great field advantage or running a touchdown back like we did. Changing the game that way. We didn't do that, but like you said, Justin Tucker made all his field goals at which we expect. And I wasn't mad that we took that delay of game and didn't kick the field goal because as I was just talking about with the passing game, the wind was crazy. So I know a lot of fans might have been questioning what we were doing there, but if you weren't going to get them off sides, then you take the delay and just punt the ball away because there really wasn't no sense of sending Justin Tucker out there in that situation, in which I think it would have been 53 or 55-yard field goal attempt. Wasn't worth it.
And then if he missed, that can change the whole complexity of the game. Short field.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a good idea.
Maybe on the next topic, go ahead, Sean.
All right. So as we talked about, we know that Keaton Mitchell went down. Is very unfortunate. But do you think that Gus will now get running back one carries, or will it still be a running back by committee situation for us?
I got a two. Well, yeah, I'm gonna answer two different. I think he will get the number one, getting starting back carries because he should, but
Hmm.
they're still going to sprinkle them to win. Excuse me, not keep Mitchell, he's out. Justice Hill, Melvin Gordon, because to keep Gus fresh for the fourth quarter. So he's definitely probably gonna get 15, maybe between maybe may see 20 carries now, and then them
Hmm.
six, five, six apiece, to keep them fresh. So yeah, I will say yes, but them two still going to get rotated in during the duration of the game.
And so I think it's still going to be running back by committee. For the past 2 weeks, even during the bye week, we've been saying that we would like to see one running back get 20 carries. And 2 weeks since the bye week, we haven't seen that yet. So I don't really expect that to change, especially with them bringing Melvin Gordon up. I think they're just going to probably keep rotating guys in and out. It's a little different now not having Keaton Mitchell because he could do different things in a run game. And I don't know how effective Gus will be later in games if we're utilizing him a whole lot, more early in games. But we'll see. I still think he can be successful. Um, but I think it's still going to be running back by committee. I don't want to say unfortunately because the guys can contribute, but it's not what we've asked to see yet.
So before we go on, so how do you see the carries? Don't you see Gus with like 15, Justice with 10, Melvin with 5? Like, how do you see the carries being broken down here?
I think it's hard to say. I mean, because we watch different games where one guy might get 9 carries. It really depends on your impact when you get the ball. Like remember the one game Keaton Mitchell had 9 carries, he had over 100 something yards. So if Gus can get particular, say he doesn't, suppose he gets 10 carries, but he has over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't think anybody's gonna be mad about that. It's
Yeah.
just more a matter of for me, um, like last week when I said Sunday they stuck with what was working. Stick with it. As long as you stick with the run game, Gus might get 15 carries. So it's hard for me to say how many they're going to get. I do think he's going to be running back number one, but I just think they're going to find ways to put all of them in. Like we talked about Justice Hill and how great he is with pass blocking. We need that help. You know what I mean? So he's going to be in there on situations, and when he's in, 9 times out of 10, Gus not going to be in there. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to answer your question because I don't know because I've seen different weeks where it's like one guy might get 9, somebody might get 12, somebody might get 2. You know what I mean? So it just depends on what they're doing, how many yards they're averaging, how effective we're being in that situation.
Gonna find out Monday, Christmas night against a pretty good defense. So let's see.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, here's our next topic.
All right. So we got to see Lamar. Well, the whole world got to see Lamar do some great things Sunday night. Do you think that Lamar made his case for MVP?
Yes, yes, yes. He did. He showed like 'cause like I said, the Warriors' most valuable player. So it's like he's the most valuable player because without him, you see this ship doesn't go quite the same. Brock
Hmm.
Purdy, it's a great year. I'm not gonna take nothing from him. Dak
Hmm.
is after the performance he had against Buffalo, that chances might have probably dropped. Jalen Hurts, but he been balling, but the ball game last night. So it's probably gonna be Brock. It's probably gonna be Brock Lamar. You could throw Tua and then even
Hmm.
still, even though they're not looking as dominant as they had, but he's still putting up numbers.
Hmm.
Uh, so like I said, numbers wise, is Brock Purdy in the league, but this the thing. If Brock Purdy go down, Sam Donald probably can do the same thing and lead that team the same way with that system and the same weapons they got. No, I'm not on Brock. I'm just saying how a voter might look at it. Lamar goes down. Tyler Huntley is not doing the same thing. We've seen it.
Hmm.
He would probably get us a one or two, but it's not going to be the same thing. So that's where it come in. Like, do you want to give anything else stats? which is valid, but or who has the most impact for their team in the league. But yes, he definitely made his case for MVP on
Okay. So I don't think he did. I mean, I don't think he made a case for MVP. Excuse me. Cut that off. I thought I put on Do Not Disturb, but I don't think he made a case for MVP. He doesn't have the amount of passing yards or touchdowns as the other guys who are in that MVP conversation. He's kind of pretty middle of the pack where that's concerned. But what he did to me show was just how special of a player Lamar really is. I mean, if our audience thinks about things that I've said when I've spoken negatively about Lamar this season, it's more or less me saying I want Lamar to be Lamar. Do what makes you special. Don't try to get outside yourself. Don't try to be cute. Don't try to show the world that you can be this passing quarterback when it's not there. Sometimes you got to take off running because that's just what the situation calls for. I don't care for a whole lot of designed runs, but what we saw on Sunday night is what made him special in 2018 and 2019. Just making something out of nothing. Times when you think that a play was supposed to be or should have been dead, it wasn't. He even had Jacksonville defenders like, how? How'd you do that? To me, that's what Lamar showed on Sunday. He just showed how special of a player he truly is. But we're not going to act like, well, we can't act like stats don't matter when you're talking about MVPs because what have we based it on every other year? So unfortunately for Lamar, he's not there stat wise. I think that if the passing game was more consistent throughout the year, we will be having a different conversation. But because they're still kind of finding their way in that area, I don't think that he's making a case for MVP, but he definitely made a case to show how special of a player he truly is.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, Brock Purdy is definitely in the lead for sure. That's what I say because, like I said, numbers you can't. You gotta have substance to the MVP. So yeah, his numbers are the best right now. So
Hmm.
like I said, if Lamar outplays him on Christmas Day, things could could swing.
Yeah, definitely can change maybe over the next 3 weeks, but something drastic will probably have to happen.
Yeah, but right now, like I said, Brock it's basically Brock Purdy war to lose.
Hmm.
So last topic of the night.
All right. So the best thing that happened besides winning was that we clinched a playoff spot Sunday night. What do you think about that?
It's good because excuse me, it's good because no matter what, you know you're in the postseason. And just now, we still got a lot to play for, folks. So we can't just go in and just act like we just
Pack it up, right?
still playing for the division first and foremost because the Browns will keep winning since he won. So they play Cincinnati, play Pittsburgh. We swept them, so they're not really as big as a threat. We need the Texans to beat the Browns, and if we can handle business on Christmas night, we'll be division champs. You know, for winning the Browns loss. So that'll definitely help. But yeah, like I said, we're still playing for the division, still playing for the number one seed. The top two seeds, even not one or two, we want to at least have host a playoff game here.
Hmm.
If we get the two seed, I'm pretty sure we'll beat the seven seed, and then we'll be back here again for the divisional round for whoever the other seed. Then we win that game. If KC, whoever, just I'm just speaking worst case scenario. Whoever got the one
Hmm.
seed, they lose, then we still get the whole AFC Championship game. So I want at least the top two seeds. So yeah, so we still got a lot to play for. So, yeah, I'm glad we in regardless though. But yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that we've clinched a playoff spot with still 3 games left to play, and we really still control our own destiny. If we went out, we know we stand. Even if we lose a game, we still might be in a good position. As long as we don't, as long as the bottom doesn't fall out in the next 3 weeks, I don't see anything really bad happening. I just think that it's good to clinch and not have to worry about that. And it's going to be good to have Lamar back in the postseason. It's time to kill a lot of these narratives that we've had to deal with, and we had to deal with them because that's what it was, right? He hasn't been available for the past 2 seasons and not in the postseason last season. But this year, knock on wood, I ain't got no wood around because my table is glass right
I
here.
got,
But
look, I got a whole.
yeah, we wanna get through the rest of December and get into January, and hey, let's play ball. I'm not scared to face the 49ers, the Dolphins, or the Steelers. At the end of the day, on shopping's on. So let's go.
Yeah, and what you just said, I think that's the reason why Lamar don't want to take off as much because what you just said, although he didn't get hurt running, he got hurt in the pocket throwing the football.
Hmm.
But just that little nugget sticks in his head, especially now him getting paid. That what happened. Knock on wood again. He
Hmm.
got paid. He still. And anybody will use any inkling that they want, especially if you're not the biggest fan of his, you just look for anything.
Hmm.
So I guess he
And
was
that's
looking.
and that's the only unfortunate part about it is that if he's thinking and contemplating about playing, that's affecting his game, and that's kind of my point because like he would just be so free when we with what he did in 2018 and 2019. And as you get older, no, you don't want to keep running. And if he cannot run, great. But I'm just referring to like situations where it's there where you could just run and get a quick 5 yards, go do that, But like I said, the design runs, I'm not really with it. When he's trying to make something out of nothing, I like it.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the contractors at the job that was saying the same thing. Like if you take off enough in there, I'm cool with that because you try to stand and play with the design runs. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that it would be a recipe for disaster sometimes.
Yeah.
So my
And
thing,
every time he gets hit, I'm like, all right, get up. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't like it, but that's part of his game. And like that's what makes him special. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of run first or running quarterbacks, but I understand how electric they can be. You know what I mean? And Lamar, I've been saying it since he's been here. Lamar is a weapon in himself. So let's not hold our weapon back. Let's unleash him. Like we see other quarterbacks do what they gotta do. Let Lamar be Lamar.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Because Jalen Hurts always got a lot of rushing. Even Josh Allen, shit, Josh
Hmm.
Allen got both many rushing touchdowns than Lamar. Like I said, nobody, and I guess by Josh Allen being bigger in stature, so they feel like it's probably he can take the punishment. But
Hmm.
so like I said, like I think. Like you said, if it's there, 3rd and 10, nobody opens, boy, take off, get the first down. And he protects himself. He gives himself up. He run out of
Yeah.
bounds.
Yeah.
So he like trying to run nobody over.
Right,
So
but I was gonna say he not like Andrew Luck, and I loved Andrew
oh yeah,
Luck.
Luck was a
Or
fullback
Cam
like
Newton, like yeah, they was going for the contact. Lamar really ain't with all of that, but you know, I like him to do special things.
you ain't lying, Shannon. Luck was like a fullback playing quarterback. He definitely he was putting his shoulder down.
I
Like
loved him. I loved him. I'm so
I
upset
wish
that
it
he retired.
like if that they would have had a line sooner, he'd probably still be playing football right now.
I agree. I agree. But they made Peyton Manning get hurt. And Andrew Luck got hurt. They ain't doing them quarterbacks right.
Yeah, yeah, that's good old Indy for you. But everybody, that's it for today's show. Like I said, we'll be back. We'll go Thursday because Dave say got something to do on Friday, so we'll go Thursday. Then
That
we're gonna
works.
do the game of Christmas. So yeah, and then we'll be back that following Tuesday, to give out a recap like we're doing now. Like I said, it's getting
Hmm.
close to the nitty gritty. Shannon, anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
I do. And I've said this message before to Ravens fans, and I just want to say it again. Don't worry about what the national media has to say about the Ravens. Shannon Sharp sat on his platform last night with Chad Johnson and was so matter of fact that Cal Hamilton didn't play on Sunday night, and we all know he was out there. So, so I say I'm looking at it like this: like they don't watch our team like we watch them. You know what I mean? Like they got so much going on. They speaking on every sport. They might not have the time to. I just think it's kind of crazy when you get on your platforms, wherever it may be, on TV, on YouTube, podcast, wherever, and you say certain things, and it's just not true. Carl Hamilton was out there, and he was a dud. So when you hear somebody say that, just take what they say with a grain of salt, because honestly, what do they really know about our team? Can't take their opinion serious.
No, you're right. I telling people that today, like, everybody's not gonna fall in love with us like they did in 2019. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm cool with that. Like when we're underestimated, that's when we play our best football. So
Hmm.
y'all can say what you like. A lot of people think 49ers, San Francisco just gonna drag us up and down the field. That's fine. Thank that. Like that. I'm perfectly fine with that. The game is to be played. So that's why
Yeah, we still got to play.
it's all good with me. They can hate on all they want. Oh man. So everyone, thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, share. Follow me and Shannon on our social media platforms, Steve as well. Like I said, we'll see y'all Thursday, same bad time, bad channel. Make sure y'all trade. I know what I mean. Talking Ravens all day, every day with your host Justin P and my MVP co-host Shannon Finch. Have an amazing Tuesday night. Love y'all guys. We are out.
Good night. Bye, Justin.